Alright, so, where are we? Kim, the lieutenant aims his pistol square at the man's forehead. Put it down now, sir, or you're gonna blow my brains out before you question me. There's a moment of silence. To hell with it. It's a walking stick anyway. It's out of bullets. The old man lays the rifle down carelessly, then looks at it lying there. And then I challenged success. He stares on, his wrinkled mouth moving without a sound. A strange sadness like a song. What did you say? The future teaches you to be alone. The present. The present. The present to be afraid and cold. The old man pulls back the hood of his plastic cape and looks up into the sky. It's blue-gray, the same color as the sea. Those words, the future teaches you.
Real music. It's La Revacholière, you shit-licking bougie dog. Chanson de soldat of the black and whites.
What is La Revacholière?
It is the anthem of the world revolution. One of three. In Grad, they sang Brave Children, favorites of history. And in Sinyao, it was some Samaran shit, I guess.
How's it go? Soon.
How did it go?
Yes.
Something about shooting rabbits. I don't know. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. It's gone now.
Did the rabbit have a certain kind of cereal?
He waves erratically with his hand, annoyed that he can't remember. A little tremor passes through him. It was dear to him. He resents forgetting it.
Pick up the gun lying in the sand.
His gaze follows your motions.
Your gaze.
The rifle feels surprisingly light in your hand. Frame stocked and patched in places with tape and wire.
Inspect.
The rifle's in a shabby state, like a crutch that's seen too much travel. Hieroglyphs are embossed into the forearm, made of walnut.
Oh, yeah?
On the butt, you see Vespertine writing, burnt into the wood. Triangle, 4.46mm, made in Sinyao.
That's as he said.
Worn, personalized even. Looks like this weapon has seen a lot of use, hasn't it, sir?
No response from the old man. The plastic cape around his shoulders rustles in a small bout of wind.
This uses jacketed ammunition, 4.46.
Jacketed, military-grade ammunition. Stable in flight. Good for hitting something that's very, very far away.
As he speaks, he stresses every word. He's liking this.
Stow the gun.
The old man keeps following your motion with his gaze. His right arm twitches suddenly.
Out of nine.
Some kind of involuntary response. Something is slightly off with his motorics. This looked very much like the murder weapon. It could be used against him to get a confession. In time.
What are you being used this gun for?
No reply. His leg twitches. You went in too fast. Over-eager. You need to contextualize it for him first. Turn the key elsewhere. The lock is here. It's here. He sounds like he hasn't gotten to speak to another human being in a long time. Especially about politics. That's what you should do first.
Who are you?
My name is Josef Lilianovich Dross. Political Commissar of the 114th Anti-Aircraft Division of the 4th Army of the Commune of Revachol.
Pshree.
I am a deserter, a partisan, and a prisoner of war. This is my term of surrender.
The commune of Revachol? Do you mean the ICM? Your holdover from the...
From the Insular Indian Citizens Militia, the army of the revolution. I was recruited in Jamrock in '07, trained in the École de Contrôle Orient, and consigned to emergency defense duties in '08.
Oh, yeah?
I left my unit on the eve of the landing. When I returned here on May 14th, the Commune had fallen. Still armed and ideologically trained, I wrote a criticism of myself and resumed partisan duties.
Oh, yeah?
51 minus 8 equals 43.
You bit only sort of went 43.
No. I've been on other islands, too. I was in Resurrection until they turned it into a spa in 18. Then I was on E48, a nameless sound, until the sea washed over it. Then I came back here. That was 22 years ago.
You said you deserted your unit? Did you cut your penis off?
I was just 16 years old, 15 when I volunteered. I had a lapse of faith.
You didn't have faith.
You could say I misunderstood the historic role of the proletariat and thought Mazovian socioeconomics were fallible. For a second, I doubted the irreducible laws of historic materialism. A second is all it took
What?
for reaction to take hold.
What's reaction?
Petty bourgeois terror. It's in all men.
You were just afraid.
It's the same thing. You haven't seen it. Not really. Not naked. It's impossible not to be afraid.
And this was... when?
May the 13th, '08.
Jeez.
44 years ago. The horizon was black with coalition airships. Their petroleum rose to the sky, and it looked like it formed the clouds. Storm clouds. When they started shelling, it was dark magic.
Made.
The combined might of international capital. All at once, all the greed and terror in the world tore into Revachol. It lifted streets from the ground and turned houses into ghosts. We were in the Flak Tower. Huddled on the floor, the artillery was 80 kilometers away in Ozon, but I knew the Commune would fall. We would all be turned into ash. So I said I was going to the map room.
What then?
I ran. I climbed the chain link across the water and hid inland, in the bunkers underground, like the weakest of the weak. A mouse, frightened of the ordnance all night and the sound of the rotors in the morning, whirring.
Wow, what was that?
Airships. I climbed out into hell. The landing was complete. The chain was submerged. I had to swim back. The fortress was half submerged too, shattered. They'd all drowned in the lower levels, or got torn to shreds above. The anti-aircraft gun had malfunctioned. So had I. I left them without ideological direction. It was real. I'd seen it. I'd seen it in reality.
Seen what?
the mask of humanity fall from capital. It has to take it off to kill everyone, everything you love. All the hope and tenderness in the world. It has to take it off just for 1 second to do the deed.
Oh, yeah?
And then you see it, as it strangles and beats your friends to death. The sweetest, most courageous people in the world. You see the fear and power in its eyes. Then you know.
What?
That the bourgeois are not human.
I have expected the same.
Now is not the time, Lieutenant Jeffreter.
I had to. I had to fight it. I could not stop anymore.
What's this island place?
It's not an island, Dwat. It's a defensive fortification of the commune of Revachol. And I am its last surviving defender.
What's it used for?
The congenitally deformed King Philip II built it to restrict access to the Bay of Revachol. We captured it in '02, retrofitted the fort with an AA gun to defend against an airborne landing. Against the whole world. Coalition military called it Operation Deathblow. I later found out on the radio they called it Deathblow. You're one of them. Tell me, who speaks like that? We had 50 million people on Caillou alone.
Coalition military, bro.
Iblis,
Iblis.
the black-eyed angel.
Shaitan Ahura, the Darkened One.
How did you survive all this time?
How does anyone survive? I steal.
Now hold on there.
What do you steal?
Supplies, vegetables. I collect rainwater.
That's not
It's the
stealing.
life of a dog, not a human being.
How is your health, Mr. Dross?
I've been throwing up blood since winter. Red, like beetroot. Been passing it in stool, too.
Mouth and ass, huh?
He does seem frail. Gaunt for his age. More like 75 than 65. Trouble putting on weight could mean cancer.
Sanser.
DRCM can provide medical services. You need to be looked over.
I need to
That's
die.
true.
You don't have medical facilities. You have guns. That's all they give you. Toy guns.
How have you coped mentally?
I haven't. I have holes in my brain.
That's what makes
Years missing. Others filled with pain only. A decade of... I don't even know what. Inferno?
I also live in hell.
At least you know it. The traders of this city turned the lights back on in the 30s, after the fighting stopped. Ruins, glittering in the dark like a fucking merry-go-round.
Proud of him.
It's disgusting.
Are they not heartbroken? How could they have moved on?
How could you have considered yourself all these years?
It was hard in the Thames. I didn't have partisan training. They were searching for stragglers, those bloodhounds. Floodlights on the water at night.
There were posters, campaigns.
Oh.
We communards still hoped, and they needed to snuff that hope out. The East capitulated, Martinez and Coal City were turned to dust. But Jamrock, Forburg, even Coron, and Boogie Street, of course. Those fucking kips had Marsov coursing through their veins.
Yoinkies.
And others too. Some cordons of Revachol was still fighting. There were cells. I tried to contact them. Soon they all went silent. The frequency's dead.
How'd you get between here and mainland?
At night, I used a dinghy.
It's not a dinghy.
I only went after dark then. When I got to the city, I stayed underground. Patrols, you lot, the commons too. They'd started snitching.
In the city, you move underground?
It's the Rat
From
King.
bunker to bunker. Not anymore. No one cares now. I don't even have to hide. They think I'm another antisocial vagrant. I could walk straight into that town if I wanted. I just...
Little weapons cache. Have you been there? Point?
So you finally found it. There must have been a small squadron's worth of arms in there. Belma Graves, right?
They were damaged beyond use, man.
I know.
So you've been there?
Sleeping. Some nights. Ammo scrounging on others. Those McGraves were shit, even before they corroded. Some had bullets in the chamber, however.
You feel the dots connecting. Little dots on the map he's walked across.
A small bunker of the fell.
The propaganda bunker. I used to, but not anymore.
Propaganda bunker?
Thank you, Kim.
They stored leaflets there. Broadcasting equipment, too. Made broadcasts, I think. Propaganda officers. I buried them with their leaflets. They killed themselves. 2 young boys.
Killed themselves?
A lot of our boys did. I spent some winters there. Never liked it. Kept thinking of them. No need to go underground anymore. It's better in the ruins, on the ground.
Let's just walk there.
I don't want to. They're all traitors. Pigs, rabbits, and dogs. Men without ideals are only animals.
They all have nipples.
He does not want to see life moving on. People forgetting, drinking, laughing.
Tell me nothing.
An old man looks inland at the city, the ruins, the motorways rising above it, the new bâtiment twinkling in the evening sky.
So you're a communist soldier from the communist army?
No, I am not a soldier. I am an ideological officer. I belong to the party, not the army.
Understood.
Like you belong to the Moralist Party.
You've been hiding here for 43 years.
43 years and 10 months.
That is steadfast, sir.
It's not how a human being should live. But I had to. I couldn't just forget. I couldn't just forget what I saw.
It's fair.
What have you been doing during all this time?
Hiding, fishing, waiting.
Where evening comes, on Rue de Saint-Ghislain, hydrogen streetlights switch on, casting black shadows. Further inland, the street grid appears dark. Unlit avenue after unlit avenue. The temperature is dropping. Alto cumulus clouds form above Precinct 41.
Thank you, Shivers.
Always waiting.
What?
For her to return.
Me also.
Her who?
Don't worry about it.
Girl child. Revolution.
Women betray you. That's hilarious. I come from there. Usually that is not what the people are planning. I've been there in the cities of tin boxes. They still happen. I've seen it. Capitals are powerful, the rich are very well organized. It's a tinderbox, bro.
It won't. The material base for an uprising has eroded. The working class has betrayed mankind and themselves. The historic opportunity for a revolution has passed. It will not come back anymore.
What has he done? Perhaps a confession will lighten the load.
What have you done then?
Yes, what? To get things going again? Fan the flame?
There is no flame to fan. There is nothing left of the world, of our dreams.
I have another serious question for you.
There's nothing serious in this world. It's a farce.
One more time, what was this gun first?
What have I used it for? I've used it for killing people. It's a gun. That's what they're for. You want a moralist euphemism? Defending your family and your property. I haven't done that. I've used it to kill people.
Interesting. During or after the war?
There is no after the war. Class war is never over.
So he's continued killing after hostilities ended. Okay. Okay. This is it. You can feel it, like battery acid on the tip of your tongue. Something you haven't felt in a while. But
What?
this is what you live for. This is the shit.
Yeah.
The great serotonin jackpot.
Yeah.
The solution.
Yeah.
Going straight. No euphemisms. He doesn't like those. No. Be careful now. Slow and steady does it. Make him repeat it first. Don't mess this up. Remember, he wants to tell you. Get personal.
The who now?
He heard you. He just wants to hear you say it again. This is dramatic flair on his part.
Right choice.
We're in. Do it, sire.
His name was he was part of the security of the strawberry here. You know who I mean.
The worm there. In the monster armor.
Nod.
An ugly piece of work, that boy.
Did you kill him?
I am a son of a welder and an officer of the commune of Revachol. I do not collaborate with murderers and pederasts of the liberal regime.
Exhaust him with proof. Pile it all on him. Get a confession. The gun. The murder weapon is the perfect opener.
Okay.
The scent of blood in the air. But what else? There was something you can't remember.
Fuck.
Something about the tracks. Suddenly, all those tracks are so confusing. Go with something else first.
I've got this.
Not a lot of guns around that use military-grade ammunition, are there?
It's a real gun. Not like your musketeer pistols.
I don't have a gun.
You look like imbeciles. Why don't you ask them to give you real weapons? Going against automatic rifles with these toy guns. Of course you got those boys killed.
Goddamn right.
He would have a good view of the tribunal from here. It's not just empty boasting.
We saved a lot of them. Alan, that musician, we handed it.
Like fuck you did. You didn't handle anything. I watched it happen. You let those beasts rip right into them. Got the fat kid killed. The old man too.
No, that was the virus.
None of those people mean anything to you. The vultures feed on this city, and you prepare the meal for them.
That was a seagull.
You're getting diverted. Push the gun. Only the gun matters.
So you watched the fight? Did you like what you saw? The mayhem. It was all your doing, your plan. You got them killed.
You don't know anything.
I know I got the gun.
You know what? You're right. I'm convinced this made the shot. Should we call it?
You think we have dramatically asked, "Look, we have a murder weapon." I'm calling it.
Good. This feels good, doesn't it? Tearing things up like this. When you have the murder weapon, you have the killer.
And his fingerprints are all over it.
Murder.
This pushed him, but not enough. Just a little more.
The shot came from this island.
I saw you poking around there, looking for evidence. You're damn diligent when it comes to dead fascies. Did you like the view?
You had direct visibility. There are embrasures in the concrete, specifically meant for a top follower to use. And you had a long-range rifle in your possession. You've been here a long time, Mr. Dross. Too long. You clearly need medical aid.
Go get some mates.
I'm ready to die.
I've done my farts.
I've done my part.
He's practically admitting to it. Dead fascists for fascists. Done his part.
The best uninterrupted line of sight into that window in all of Martinez.
Because it's a sniper's nest, you stupid fuck. Radio Gosh is right. You have worms in your brain.
Almost. He almost burst out there. Keep piling arguments. Anything.
Come on, what am I forgetting?
Wait, here it comes. The goddamn Maybells. The dried Maybells on Clausia's roof.
Oh, yes.
There were Maybells in the grass when you got here. They're revolutionary symbols from the war.
That's what old boy told me.
Wait, don't forget the footprints. The diagonal prints in the dust in the secret space behind Clausia's bedroom. Now, they're gonna come up.
Of course, thank you, Head, thank you.
You got it. Remember, the boot prints were like no modern soul.
I wonder what brand of boots you're wearing.
Everything is brands with you individualists. Who cares what brand my shoes are? Sansa. Some shit.
Show me the soles, please, Mr. Dross.
Fucking imbecile.
The maker is called Sensory. You see their V-shaped logo, but can't make out the size. These are not the unusual horizontal patterned souls you saw in the dust on the floor of the hidden room. They do, however, seem to be about the same size.
The size fits, but not the soul.
Maybe it's easier than that. Come on, don't fuck this up.
Sire,
Thank you.
he doesn't have to be wearing them right now.
We changed shoes, but weren't there. Neither of the victim died in sneaking around.
Racking those brains, are you? Desperate to report something back to your masters? They must have really loved that dead fuck.
The lieutenant gives you a quick sideways glance and nods to acknowledge. The prints were his. You can see it in those eyes. He can't keep them from flickering, looking for something. The old man stares at his own prints in the ash around the fire. Silent suddenly, some strange process within him. A gush of wind. Seagulls in the distance. You've almost got him. Just the last little push.
There were Maybells behind the victim's window. Show him the true flower.
Damn Maybell. The whole island is turning white with them.
He seems tender suddenly. Nostalgic even. A strange mood swing.
So many this year, too. The spring is coming. No, it's already here. Wash the filth away.
Only here.
They blossom on the islets before we fertilize them with our blood. Resurrection was snow white in May, before they ruined it.
South, the Bay of Martinez is dotted with little freckles of islets, turning green, with white flowers in white snow.
Beautiful, Dad.
The coast, too, before they piled their containers on top of it, filled with broken, useless trash for fat-fingered bourgeois children to play with.
You must get around a lot to stay undetected all these years. Do you know any secret paths? Pinball workshops?
Ooh,
I may.
young woman. Ring bell, Maybell?
Classier.
He knows her, but hadn't heard the name.
You hadn't heard her name, had you?
My ears don't reach the city.
You jerked off to her fucking that dude.
With the victim.
There is a small tremble, looks like a smile, a crooked smile, yet isn't quite voluntary. He's about to burst.
You know who he was. A coalition-trained murderer, armored and armed. He wasn't human. The blunt end of a hammer, dripping with blood.
He was a soldier too. He was a man. He was a killer, but he was still under the protection of the law.
Beating us to the ground, moaning with joy. You hounds get so thorough when a company-trained killer dies. I haven't seen you on this coast for 40 years. You know, maybe I should have killed one sooner. Got your attention. Now you stop eating druggies and prostitutes in your basement.
Why?
Now you come to investigate. Not when they die by the hundreds.
This is it. Shot him, shot him. Say shot him, not killed him.
So you shot him.
Oh, the inhumanity. One paramilitary less in Revachol.
The lieutenant raises his right arm to hush you, while the lieutenant listens, holding his breath.
Hold your breath.
I had them in my sights. Both of them. Him and the whore. I was breathing with them, in phase. And I pulled the trigger and flew on the air until I landed in his mouth.
So you come
I didn't think I had a shot like that in me anymore. I did. I saw him kneel there with his mouth full of death, and that stupid look on his face. And his dick still in her.
Beautiful. Then what?
Nothing. I went to sleep. Next morning there were Maybells everywhere. The world was white. Or what's left of it, anyway. My last spring here. I knew the fascists would come to avenge their own. And so they did.
Mr. Dross, are you aware you're confessing to murder?
Yes.
And you were looking at them, the victim and a young woman, having sex, through the scope of your rifle that night, before you shot him?
The old man nods.
Why?
Because that's what they were doing.
The motive. This is where the motive is going to come from. You can coax it out of him. The lieutenant's preparing the ground.
I don't understand. Do you, detective? I don't understand this part.
Why are we looking at them that night?
I'm always looking.
Are you always looking through the scope of a rifle? I'm just trying to understand.
A rifle's scope has the best magnification.
And if you don't like it?
Click.
You pull the trigger.
Yes. Think of it as a form of critique.
He will not stop now. These dialectical materialist types never do. Exploit it. You got him going. Connect every little piece now. Wrap this up like a gift.
Shit.
Start with when he first saw him. It will give him a chance to ramble.
When did you first see the deceased?
3 weeks ago, when the rich hag came in on her galley. Her honor guard came in tow.
Joyce. He means Joyce.
Joyce? The Wild Pine script?
Wrinkled up whore.
I use it often myself. What is it with these whores and pederasts? Aren't you a communist?
Black sexual morals are a bourgeois ploy. As to pederasty, the party legalized it in '04. My party, not your liberal masters. So don't you sermonize me, you racist shithole.
I am not.
It's still bourgeois when the bourgeois does it, fiddling with their sexual organs.
Moving on.
They moved into a deserted apartment above the roundabout. Radio equipment out for all to see. Reactionary radio playing. Sloppy, drunk. I've seen their kind during the landing. Those Occidental and messed phalanx weren't conscripts. Boys like us. They were whites. All they know is to destroy and hurt.
Got it.
Hurting the strike breakers like that. I kept an eye on them.
What did you specifically not like when you saw the night of the murder?
Them. Fucking. I didn't like that.
So you were jealous.
Jealousy is a reactionary concept. I didn't like the Reaver enjoying himself. drugged out, soothed
Yeah.
in the arms of a young woman. I wanted him to die so he could not enjoy life anymore.
For him to stop reacting to stimuli, to be broken off from the world, cordoned into darkness.
And I wanted to see his head explode.
Oh.
That too. She should know better than to hold a child murderer between her thighs.
That's true.
I knew he'd be there for one more second, writhing. That's all it takes for the bullet to reach his head.
Yep.
Now that I think of it, I wasn't aiming for his mouth. I wanted his brains to spill out on her. But you can't have everything.
I'm beginning to like this guy.
He wants to see her covered in blood.
How long have you been watching her?
Since she came to Martinez, I saw her sneaking in the reeds early in the morning, behind the Fell building. It was dark, still winter. She didn't have her skimpy outfit on then, just a spot in the night, moving.
Past the Fell building on the coast? What was she doing there?
Hiding something in the water. She had a fag after she'd done it. I was up in the ruins there.
Cigarette.
She couldn't see me, but I could see her, smoking. She was nervous, but not scared.
What do you think she hid there?
Her passport and tickets to Villiers. And from there to Cachet Brut.
In the free state of Seminine, hidden away at the edge of the earth, near the Pale.
Some kind of hidden container on the coast. You looked into it.
Yes, after she'd gone. It was a submersible. Well made, actually.
Sloppy. We should have gotten her to tell us about this. Did you take the documents?
No, I put them back. Why would I take them? I'm not going to phone. No, I mean...
Did you continue watching her after this?
I did. She had a face like an archipelago.
Why do you
Those
guys love
birthmarks.
islands so much?
And a body, hard and lean, bruised all over. Black and yellow. I could see she's taken a beating. I could see who she was, too. A spook. On the run. Revachol's the cloaca of capital now. All the bagmen and arms dealers end up here to do drugs and have sex like animals.
That's fair, I guess.
You could tell she was a spook from the documents?
She had different color hair on the photo, and glasses. Forged. Some sordid bourgeois affair. I heard about this kind of thing on the radio.
He's setting it up for you. The bruises, you can't make that out in a scope.
And you can see the bruises through a scope of a rifle.
You can't see bruises through a scope. It's just a blur.
Does he know the minute details about her? Minute details about her.
It quickly comes to you.
Mm-hmm. Bending like a bow against the glass. I've been through all of Martinez. Every nook and cranny.
And that.
Yes, that too. The things they did in that little room. What she'd do to feel good. Funny the way light works. You turn it on inside, and it gets so dark out, you can't see a man looking in. I learned that in the 20s, when they were still hunting me. I've seen people do some shit, but...
Those two took the cake. You hear the familiar scribble of the lieutenant's pen. A quick glance at you.
How did you get in there? The hidden pinball workshop.
I can just walk in there now after a good wash. I told you, they think I'm an antisocial. Closing hour is a good time. The kitchen's empty.
You had to open the steel door in the kitchen?
I got that open a long time ago. Some bourgeois game merchant lived there. I don't know, 15 years ago. He left spare keys all over, and I took one. Then I saw her turn the light on one night in my scope.
Andy found use for it. A spare key, like the one hanging behind the Union Box window.
You had feelings for that woman.
There's nothing to hold on to. Only this. It's not enough. Man needs to feel something else. It helps if you have your eye on something there. Something pretty. It's weakness, I know.
Is that why you left the dried flowers behind her window?
No,
Why then?
I don't really know. I was there one night and she was crying, like a child, in the corner of her room on the floor, like she does sometimes.
Yeah, 'cause there's a fucking guy watching. What?
The day after I killed him. Yes, I don't know why I do the things I do anymore. Maybe, I told you, I have holes in my brain now. I wouldn't just sit here waiting for you. If you came 10 years ago, I would have killed you.
In the silence, the lieutenant draws a line in his notes, then nods at you once more.
It was about him. It was about her.
Her.
The lieutenant nods at you in acknowledgement.
Where is she, that Clasier? I haven't seen her there for days.
I might not. I am not at liberty to say.
I know she's gone. Locked up, or on the run. She kept staring into the scope, you know. In the end, this last week, at the fort, like she knew. Like she knew I was here. It doesn't matter.
Midtown, across the Bay of Revachol, cold rain falls on 40-story towers. Above them, Lausanne Central Aerodrome, a cocoon suspended in the grey sky by a web of suspension wiring encircled by hybrid aircraft. On the platform, a young woman is withdrawing from amphetamines, barbiturates, and alcohol. Yet still, she smiles among the crowd, among the great ghosts of the city she's leaving, for another, far south. Smaller, distant, hidden, not like the great chandeliers she sees sparkle in the dusk below her. Streets, towers, tenements, and cold water. Across the water, a dark strip of ruins, barely visible. If she didn't squint her eyes, he knew she knows. She was looking at the island, figuring it out, day by day, cigarette by cigarette.
That's why she changed about.
We could get more. We've got him talking.
Who knows what he's seen and done over the years?
Well, no shit.
You could get more out of him. He likes talking.
Bit more than anything else you haven't liked.
A tragic comedy. Druggies, prostitutes, and rentiers.
A strange little engine seems to fire up in him again. It straightens his back. The familiar put-put-put of hatred.
More specifics.
Specifically, the whole city is a charnel house. stripped clean and draped in neon. But Martinez is the worst.
Come how?
Because of the racists. Everyone is a racist in Martinez. It's their favorite thing to do in the whole world. Listening to race-themed radio shows. In the ruins, in their lorries. Pumped full of steroids and Radio Revachol 92. Race this, race that. It's all sanctioned by that Social Democratic Union and the farce of a Social Democrat who runs it.
Mr. Clare.
Yes, the fly larva in his container. He let some nihilistic advertising yuppies erect a statue of Philippe III, a syphilitic murderer, on the town square, to spit on the working class. Not since the serfs of ancient Pericarnassus has history produced a more inert social class than the Martinez proletariat. The rest of Revachol at least pretends to rebuild. These people still live in ruins. Intense, like animals, like those boom-boom morons on the ice. A pity they didn't drown in that tent of theirs.
Nod.
The worst of them is the blood-drenched Sucrion on her yacht, licking her lips. The old whore's gone now. Her gun-toting porcelain men are dead. So, actually, no. The worst is that old cock parading around in his uniform, throwing balls all day. It's not enough that the racists and liberals are dancing on our graves. The old loyalist ghouls still parade the ruins too. Every morning he's there, while the parasites he fought to protect are off in Ozon, or Coyamoran, or some other island they built their palaces on, feeding on drugs and having sex with their own children.
Oh my god.
That's all the rich really want. Sex with their own children. Throughout history, even the royal bloodline of the suzerain, it's all just an excuse for them to have sordid sex. At least that old cunt, Fricelle, is now dead. We did good when we pushed him under the horse car. Until, in the 30s, those disco whores.
There was something about a statue and nihilistic advertising agency people might be worth investigating.
There's something about the statue?
Syphilis is a disease Philippe III contracted in a whorehouse. The statue is an abomination.
Bomb out.
The bacteria entered his brain and made him squander trillions on sparkling wine, cocainum, and monuments of himself. His son, Philip IV, the insane, contracted syphilis in the womb.
That is technically possible, although Philippe III was not actually syphilitic. He was just mad.
And he still went on to govern Revachol for 25 years. We lost 2 million lives toppling that mode of government. And those grotesque statues too. Hundreds of them.
But still there.
What a keen remark. Yes, it is, isn't it? It's still there. Do you know why?
Because against all needed, his statues are indestructible.
No. Cynical design cockroaches like you erected a new, ironic version of it. We tore it down with honest, working-class plastic explosives. But there it is again, grinning. Art is a bourgeois establishment. It's an affront to humanity. Every gallery should be bulldozed, and the artists should all be given 30 years of hard labor in Yekokata.
Wait, the bullet hole in Philippe's heart. The statue had been shot. That was him. It had to be. He's already proven capable of taking a far more complicated shot from here.
The hole in his heart, that was you.
I did. A needless, sentimental gesture. I should have spared the bullet for a deformed monster of liberal capitalism. Shameful, really.
Yes, shameful. So many others to punish over the years. Isn't that right, detective?
What's it for a statue then? Tell me, Mr. Dross.
The fat union man let them put it there. Corrupt as he is. Probably got a fat check for it too. Shared with the law.
He keeps having opinions about the union's leadership.
You mentioned union.
Another hideous disappointment.
Kind of are.
Unions are the real enemy. The true enemy of the proletariat. Placating the masses.
Disappointment. So personal. He displays a familiarity with the union's top brass.
Who's disappointed? Everett Clare?
That deformed toad?
I didn't get to see him.
I wouldn't expect him to wipe his own ass. I mean, the brains of the operation. The smart one.
Edgar.
You mean Edgar?
He talks a big game about uprising and social base. They must have sent the smart one to some university in Le Jardin, where it's alienation this and hegemony that.
He's been sweet-talked by this Edgar. They must have met in person for such animosity to have developed.
We're not the first people we know from the city, are we?
You can't live alone.
The Clares wouldn't miss a man hidden in their own backyard. Not all this time. Nothing happens in Martinez without them knowing.
Of course. Maybe the Clears asked him to. Don't go straight for the kill. Exhaust everything else first. Soften him up.
Have you approached them?
I haven't approached anyone. I hid. It was Edgar who came to me.
How did he know you were here?
He didn't just stumble in like an oaf. He figured it out. Some kids told him about a monster on the island. I told you, he has brains. Stepped right off the boat and walked down where you came. I even kept the door open for him. Thought he was a man of the left. Wouldn't rat me out. I was right about one of those things.
When was this?
20 years ago. Neither of them could walk now, could they? They were less fat then.
That's around the time the Clears came to power.
Edgar did the talking. Paid his respects like I were a fossil in a uniform. Offered platitudes about the struggle. Flaunted his pink degree. Even quoted Marzoff. Never trust a social democrat who quotes Marzoff. Oh, and charity too. They love their charity. Offered me blankets and social housing. I still have the gas cooker he brought.
And he'd let you be here.
Let me be here? The ZOC is an unlawful successor of the Commune of Revachol. We took this fortification from the Loyalists. Even the Clares understand this.
They let him be here. Understanding was a courtesy. But why such a courtesy?
Did you kill the Carol mercenary for the Clares?
You know why I killed that fucker, Dwat. As to Edgar, I'm not doing anything for that swine again.
Again? What have you done for Edgar before?
Tried teaching him some Marzovian socioeconomics. They didn't stick. We parted ways.
Okay, he didn't do the hanged man for them, but he's insinuating something.
What's the deal between him and Edgar?
The connection comes to you like a splash of cold water. Dark, cold water.
20 years ago when you met Edgar, the Clares didn't run the Union yet, did they?
Hey.
He acknowledges it. Here we go. A twist behind the dark bend.
Who did?
That bourgeois cow. Tiffin Holly was her name. Licked the rich man's hand every time he came to town. Never seen a labor leader so hot on mutual cooperation. And money. She liked that too. That Holly was a real bridge builder and a deal maker.
And then she just disappeared?
Called in, they say. On the eve of battle. Ran away. Vanished like a piss stain.
No, that's not quite it, is it?
Did she? They say her daughter called in, not her personally. But that wasn't really her daughter, was it?
No, I guess it was not.
Edgar had someone make the call.
She couldn't make the call herself.
Here it is, the bend in the river.
What?
Because she was dead.
Just say nothing.
Nothing.
The cow caught a bullet in her right lung. Fell into the canal grasping her tit and drowned. Or bled? Hard to say. It was a sloppy job. And a moving target. She was going home. Waddling. Dressed in yellow. Drunk like she often was. The ruins are black around her, and she had a yellow leather bag under her arm. She tried to cross the canal. Heading home to Grand Couronne or Betancourt, someplace like that, where they build those new bâtiments for the people who flourish in the hell around her, and the ruins. Someone shot her. Or maybe the cow just fell. My memory is full of holes. All I know is... nothing changed. Not in the material base. Not in the hegemony. There was no uprising. Just words. The Union fizzled. Sogged. Nothing came of it. Nothing.
Edgar didn't keep his part of the deal. If you were to testify to this, give the RCM something on Edgar, you could walk. We would strike everything you've done and process you as a POW. You were in a war. You were on assignment. We could even extradite you to the Samaran People's Republic.
A degenerate worker state. Go shit. No, thank you. I'm Revacholian. My days are short. I will rot away here, in a moral intern cell. I will not testify to anything.
But you did do it.
I saw it happen, and I liked it. That's all I have to say. I didn't live and fight for 40 years to end up as a collaborationist. I've heard it on Channel 8, 40 AM, Radio Revachol, late night. Everyone is a blobber in this world. Everyone betrays everyone. They're all already locked up for betrayal. The best ones, the ones with heart, were slaughtered, trampled.
The same old freezing hatred.
By the cock parading this coffee from, you mean Renee?
Every fucking morning for 34 years. Throwing that ball. One ball against the other. I've always loathed that game. That is not a working class game. I don't care what they say on Radio June. Royalist ghouls played like it was life itself. Click, clack across the water each day. And that uniform, like a parrot plumage. I won't even mention that he's a traitor to his race. A petanque maniac race traitor. I remember him. I remember him from La Noce. Not him personally, his make and model. There were tens of thousands of them. I thought we took them all out before the liberals came to their rescue. We missed one. That one. Fat and plump, like a pheasant, just begging to be popped off.
Oh, man.
Please, Mr. Dross, shoot me.
You'd like to kill him?
Not yet. I like to look at him strut around, place the crosshair on his medals, right on his face, and just fiddle the trigger. Think about it. Let the bomb melt in my mouth.
Save the treat for later.
He is a juicy bonbon, that one. A real treat for the black day. The blackest. When I put that gun in my own mouth, I think, no, don't waste it. Put this lead in that cock, René. For the boys he killed. And then I look at him throw those balls, and I suddenly feel better. I even hid one bullet, so I'd always have one. For him.
Good plan.
Haven't seen him around lately, strutting around. Must be down with arthritis. I hope it hurts like hell. I hope he sweats blood.
Hearing it may destabilize him. You sure you've gotten everything from him?
René is dead. He died of old age a couple days ago.
No,
Yes.
I waited too long. I waited too long, and now he's dead?
Mm-hmm. He told me about the Maybells.
I'm sorry, Mr. Dross. I understand you knew him for a long time.
They're all dead now. Fuck it.
If he really wanted to kill him so bad, he
That's
would have
true.
done. There must have been 1,000 black days on these islands. His health ailing.
Yeah, 1,000 chances to kill him.
And I blew them all. What does it matter now? He's gone. Ancient dust.
You cared about him.
All human beings care about each other. I cared for seeing his head explode. Now, God damn this world.
I'm sorry.
Fuck you.
Are you okay, Mr. Dross, to go on?
You think I haven't seen people die? It's all I've seen them do. Fuck and die. All the other plans we had. To love. To colonize the Pale. It's all fucked.
It doesn't look like he is. Okay.
I'm glad we talked about this now.
Glad we talked about what?
That's not gonna work.
For a 60-year-old man with stomach trouble,
That's
he's
it.
prone to erratic hand gestures and clearly malnourished. But that's it. You can see no more by looking at his slouched frame. The moment passes, and you say,
You're under arrest.
What? But you said I would be taken to the...
The sum of all the erratic movements, fidgeting, and mood swings he's been exhibiting. The wind picks up. The silence on the water is broken all around you. Little shivers of waves appear. The lieutenant continues, like an incantation.
Your Wayfarer rights have been suspended. Information provided to the officers on the scene will be used against you by the prosecution. You will be given legal counsel within 1 week and must face court in 44 days. Do you understand?
Do you understand? But answer.
No, I don't want to. I have to stay here.
Your confirmation is not required, sir. Now on to the boat. Not really. We could escort him to the pier, then either one of us can take him inland while the other stays here.
But then, who watches him while you're coming back here?
You come back for me? How about I go and send a boat back for you?
What is this farce? Is this a fucking farce? I can't.
Lillian, you could ask her maybe.
Maybe I can ask the nitpicker.
This is no harmless old man.
This fucking world. This world. What is this?
You could come back for me once you've taken me to the precinct.
No, it would take a whole day on this island. You go and transport the prisoner. I'll be here. I can escort him to the pier with you.
Don't need to be polite, I'll do it.
This world. What are you talking about? Is this us?
The wind is cold from the east. Your skin is crawling suddenly.
Oh, yeah? Oh, fuck yeah!
A delicate tangle of arms and legs unfolds from the reeds, limb by limb, to then just stand there, moving its scythe-like arms in ghostly silence. It's still there, an unfolding mechanism of reed-like chitin, hovering in place.
What is that?
What are you talking about?
A giant stick insect.
There's nothing there.
The stick insect is over 3 meters tall. It looks straight at you, with its tiny pinprick eyes and its grotesquely small head.
I've finally gone insane.
You feel the lieutenant's hand on your back, and then you hear him say 4 words.
I can see it.
If he can see it too, then you're not totally insane.
That's beautiful, Dad.
But that would mean it's really there, spinning slowly, in absolute silence, its limbs long and slender.
Oh, this is beautiful.
Be very, very careful.
Buddy.
The creature stands on long stilt-like legs, antennae hanging from his head like a woman's hair, white and curled at the tips. It is no more than 5 steps away from you.
Well, it's definitely not going to fit in that cage.
The segmented antennae move with apprehension, searching for something. You. Reed-like tufts stick out of its joints. As the insect moves its forearms, it produces a faint hiss, like a reel-to-reel machine spinning after the tape breaks.
Say something to it quietly, something like, "Don't be afraid."
Nothing changes in the cyclical braying motion of the creature's limbs. They are porcelain white on the inside and reed-colored on the out, beige, light brown, and striped. You are unsure if it is scared or not. Its insect mind is impenetrable to your reasoning.
Please. Yay.
Slowly, with your breath held, you take 2 small steps toward the phasmid. The creature lets out a series of ultrasonic clicks that swarm around your head like swallows. Like laughter, a sort of happiness. Hissing and clicking, it extends its mandible-like antennae to greet you. You're right below it now, looking up at the colossal chitin of its white limbs. The head of the creature is crowned by reeds, and its eyes are like small droplets of water.
Raise your hand slowly.
The insect stops its stridulation, seeming to observe you. Below its crown of reeds, little pinprick eyes detect motion, glittering. The world stands still around you.
Raise your other hand too.
As you do, the invertebrate comes to life, its limbs moving independent of each other, as if each has a mind of its own. They are white, like stalks of porcelain, knitting above you, praying to you.
Don't pray to me, I'm nothing.
The reed creature does not stop its stridulations. It towers above you, parting the reeds it emerged from. Tuft-like structures still rustle on its joints.
Hello, I'm Harry.
No reply. A total ancient silence comes from its mouth, along with what appears to be some kind of foam. The stridulations of its limbs continue all around you. You were right. Little bubbles form on the mouth parts of the creature, on its segmented lower lip. It looks to be foaming, slowly. The foam is white, then yellowish.
It's foaming.
Careful. It may be poisonous.
The foam slowly turns a darker shade, like burnt caramel, as the insect moves its mouth parts, masticating. The little bubbles begin to burst, one by one.
Tell me, what are you doing?
Nothing. Its simple eyes give off no flicker of light. No one is home. The twitches of its limbs are insect-like, unknowable, perhaps without substance even.
I want to know your mind.
It's spread too thin among its limbs, performing incomprehensible operations on the world. And you, looking at it, mouth slightly open. You cannot even imagine what it thinks. Suddenly, another flash of pain, worse than the one before. The taste of blood in your mouth. The insect tastes it too, twitching suddenly.
Okay, take the picture.
Okay.
There is no change in the insect's motion while it's being aimed by the camera. It remains fixated on you.
In 3. If it moves, you jump back. I'll shoot. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
The shrill flash of the camera cuts the air like the blade of a sword. The phasmid freezes in its bright light. Head turned toward the lieutenant, hypnotized by the flash. It stands frozen before you.
I got it.
Immortalized.
Touch it.
The antennae hang from a great height. With your hand shaking, you barely touch the tip of the left whisker. On contact, the chitin curls into a spiral, like the tip of a poison ivy. Its touch on your fingertip feels cold, ticklish. It is surprisingly delicate, the curly end of the whisker, like a young vine. It's even a bit wet.
Be careful, detective. It's moving.
Look at your finger.
You were right. It glistens with some kind of moisture. The creature in front of you stays frozen.
Pet it.
The limb before you is incredibly light, like eggshell. It's much lighter than a reed. You feel a soft push could tip the creature over. Its hollow exoskeleton collapsing. Warning!
Put your hand away.
A sudden shiver passes the limb. Looks like the creature is awakening. Wave by wave from its stupor, some sort of countdown process is happening. That's all you have time to think.
We got it.
Another shudder pulses through the creature's limbs. It jolts back to life, like a record continuing where it left off, in a swaying, praying motion. Even the small black pearls of its eyes do not stray from you.
Disengage.
As you back off, the phasmid also takes a step back into the reeds. Something tells you the next time you engage and disengage, it will probably flee.
Oh.
The arthropod follows you with its antennae. As you back off, the cracks and hisses of the tape that's come to its end grow more distant.
Just gonna stay dark with this.
What is it? What do you want from me? I can't go.
Something is very wrong with him now.
I'll leave you be for now. Do I gotta touch this thing again?
Hissing and clicking, the arthropod extends its mandible-like antennae to greet you again. You're right below it. As you're turning away, the phasmid mirrors your movements, stepping on the water, the long limbs carrying its feather weight without breaking its surface. And just like that, it's gone, skating away across the sea's calm mirror like a skipping stone, leaving nothing but circles on the water. And something under it, in the place it stood, bobbing there, among the reeds, a collection of items.
Oh, good.
It's gone.
It can walk on water.
Apparently, yes. Like a water strider. Only, I've never seen anything like that in my life.
What's that in the reeds?
Looks like a nest of some sort. We should have a look.
What now?
What now?
In some kind of strange, semi-catatonic state.
Our suspect is not looking so good. We need to check on him.
Uh-oh.
What is it?
I don't see the first one.
See.
Mr. Doras?
The man does not respond. He keeps staring, black eyes glazed over and bulging from their sockets. His gap-toothed mouth shaking.
Touch his shoulder.
The plastic cape feels coarse. A light shiver passes the man. Other than that, no reaction. He feels small and frail.
He's going into some kind of psychomotor immobility. The good news is, this solves our transportation problem, doesn't it, Mr. Doras? Between this and the broken tire he's used for a boat,
Really?
I think it's safe to leave him here, while we go and get help. It will need to be medical first, I'm afraid.
We found some things.
He stares into the reeds. Your words don't stir anything in him. Perhaps you should.
Show him the skull.
I lost.
He turns his eyes to the reeds again, as he's done so many times. Beige and white stripes.
He lost the skull. Then it somehow made its way over there, with the help of a magpie phasmid. This sight is a T9, Mr. Doras. Was it attached to the rifle when you made the shot?
Silence. Not even a sigh. You've gotten all you will out of this poor being.
I'm gonna let you rest for
The
now.
plastic cape flaps around his face in a gust of wind. His back is slouched and his mouth open.
Hang tight.
Okay, now, we should think about getting back to the mainland, to get help. He'll be safe here, if we don't take too long.
But it's 11:43. Oh, that's why it's dark. I thought I got over there relatively early. Leave this place. Is this the way to touch my dock? Sure it was.
The skiff is swayed.
Let's. We are done here.
The skiff rocks gently under your weight as you get in. The ride back is uneventful and quiet.
That's fair.
But for the sound of conversation on the water, there is someone inland waiting for you.
Even better.
You reach the jetty and climb out of the skiff.
Look what the tide brought him. Harry, you're bleeding all over the place. You're half dead.
Whatever this is, it is completely unimportant compared to what you've just seen.
No, that's not necessarily true.
This is the man with sunglasses from the Whirling in Rags. But where are his sunglasses?
Remove sunglasses.
That's right. And you're bleeding.
Everyone else seems bothered by the bleeding.
Bothered by it? Harry, you look like you need a fucking organ transplant. Oh, fuck it. Let's not get into that.
Where are you people?
Hello, I'm Trent Heidelstadt. I believe we've met on several occasions.
I'm your goddamn
Set
partner,
okay.
Jean Vicomar, and this is your special task force. Or what's left of it. Special Consultant Trent Heidelstam, Battle Officer Judith Minot.
Hi.
We've come to scrape what's left of you after pavement.
Lieutenant Kim Kisuragi, Prison 57. We've just come from the island, where our investigation led us.
The scene is making even him feel as though he has to justify your actions.
We might need your help with something later. But this is clearly a departmental matter, so I'm going to leave you to discuss it among yourselves.
Thank you,
It's good to meet you, Lieutenant Kitsuhagi.
Letting the lieutenant know he shouldn't feel embarrassed over the shitstorm that's about to befall you.
What's this all about?
Ari, we want to help you. Trent, I believe this is where you come in?
This is the horse-faced woman. I don't know why you named her that, but it was beyond idiotic. You should never address her using those words again.
I don't quite know what I'm doing here. I was asked to participate as an expert. I think I need to manage your expectations a little. I'm at best an enthusiast in cognitive science. My background is in something else entirely. I engage in neurology on a merely theoretical level. In fact, I should probably get going.
No, Trant, it's too late. You're part of this shit now. What have you got to say for yourself, shit kid?
Shit kid. What an interesting moniker.
Mission Task Force.
Yeah, Major Crimes Unit, under Lieutenant Dubois and Vicomar. Ring any bells?
Yep, sure does.
He doesn't remember.
See? He really doesn't remember. It wasn't a sick joke. At least that's good.
Yeah, that's very good.
How'd you know here I was?
The cafeteria manager you fucked over told us where you went.
Saved his damage, and he still betrays me.
Strange. He didn't mention that. In fact, the establishment didn't look saved at all. There was a giant aerograffito in front of the building. It was on fire.
Yeah, I lit it on fire.
I knew it. Didn't I tell you, Trant? I told you it was our shit, kid.
The line is from Lou Giaton's Mirova 82, isn't it? About girl-child communism, the titular returning character to ghost the apparition of... Good choice, Harry.
Don't encourage him, Trant.
Thank you, Trant.
Okay.
So, Trant.
Yes, I'm Trant Heilstein. I never said I wasn't Trant Heilstein.
Wait, what was up with the kid, then?
Mikhail? Mikhail's my son.
Oh, yeah? What was up with all the interesting history? Spying on me?
No, I was just interested in the Feld building and the Martinez beachhead. And Mikhail wanted to see Martinez. It was a coincidence.
So what are your special consulting here?
What indeed? I was asked to share my take on some of the more obscure theories developed in Königstein in the 30s. Like partial psychotraumatic amnesia, group personality theory.
He's here to see if you're insane. He is smart. Let's move on.
Where have you been all this time?
Where have we been? We've been fucking off as far as I remember. You told us to fuck off. You said we're cramping your style. Your detective god. Fuck everything. All we burn. Detect or die.
Why would you leave a literal police god?
You were crying hysterically. You were drunk, breaking things, being emotionally abusive. You said we were going into the abyss. None of us wanted to see the abyss, so we fucked off. Like you told us to.
I'm sorry I didn't recognize you.
It's okay. I didn't come here to gloat or to fool you. Neither did he, actually. We're just worried.
That's right. Worried. I'm always worried about you. Every time you don't show up to work, or when you do about stink.
Ooh.
You're a worry fest. She's worried about you. I'm worried about you. Even Special Consultant Backpedal is worried about you. Everyone worries. Instead of working.
Oh, this is ringing any bells.
The bells aren't ringing because you have brain damage. Detective God. Trant, this is where you come in. How bad is it?
Well, he doesn't have visible tremors. He talks without slurring. He can drive a boat. He's standing, reasoning. All good signs, but complete retrograde amnesia. Episodic and semantic.
Meaning, you forgot both who you are and the definitions of money, e-solar, pound, and so on.
Aye.
As displayed in the station call, our interactions with him, and I don't want to be a snitch, but also mine with him before when Harry did not seem to know who I was. It's all very interesting.
Interesting?
Yes, interesting. I have my theories, but I would like to hear Harry's thoughts first. Harry, what do you think happened to you? Neurologically, psychologically, and why not socioeconomically?
Something so sad happened to me that I couldn't be me anymore. It was a defense mechanism, or I drank so much I lost my memory, and I am now slowly recovering it.
He is. He's getting better. And I can confirm that he drank a lot of alcohol prior to it happening.
I believe he drank. People do that, especially this one. What they don't do is forget their whole life because of drinking.
But Detective Vigmer, he has blanked out before.
Have I?
Yes, a couple of times. After some of the more serious benders. One was after the two drunks case, the other when we looked into that mural.
So you don't remember not remembering. Beautiful.
Nice.
The two cases in your ledger. The unsolvable case and the Next World mural. Those were recent.
Interesting. So at first he dipped his toes into it, prepared. That's where he would have gotten the idea, yes. Practice. And then he used alcohol to get there, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean?
Well, here's my theory. What if this is an absolutely normal reaction to the world we're living in? What if this is not a significant anomaly at all? Something to be explained, approached as a defect? Look at the sensory input here. Look at the ruins, the neon. Listen to the radio, the multitudes, the people. Live here for 40 years. As a police detective, he's like a magnetic reader on the world tape, to borrow a known metaphor. Harry's been pushed flat against it. Total input. Hardwired to the free market. He just needed for it to end.
Okay, Trent, thank you. That's absolutely meaningless. I'm glad we brought you. Will he or will he not be able to work in the major crimes unit? Is he a cretin now? I want to know that.
He's not a cretin, and he is able to do work. If not in his previous leadership role, then as a line detective.
I'm ready to lead again, man.
No one even mentioned that. I misphrased my question. It should have been, is he able to put his clothes on and use the body? Or do we need to get him on a disability pension?
What now?
Now nothing. Now we're just going to stand here.
Just stand there.
Yeah. Just stand there. It's cool.
Really?
No. Now we discuss that. What the fuck did you do to a motor carriage? Why is it there, Harry?
Tequila Sunset rose that day.
Ha ha ha. Ho ho ho. Tequila sunset. Not sunrise because you're almost dead. So funny, Harry. Thank you for fucking me. Thank you for destroying 45,000 real of police property that's coming out of my payslip. You know that, right? You're gonna get fired, and I'm gonna pay till I die. It doesn't matter. Your badge, Harry. Show me your badge.
Oh shit, I don't got my gun. I got my badge right here, buddy.
In a rush to demonstrate your badge, your eager fingers can't sustain a grip on the... and the badge slips out of your hand.
Catch it. Yay.
Not today, badge.
Behold my badge.
And your gun.
I don't have that.
As if having your badge and gun are natural states, not achievements. Gun. Yeah, you don't have that. Maybe you can philosophize your way out of it?
Things don't matter, people do.
You're drunk, aren't you? You lost your gun and you're drunk. You're a drunk, gunless bum. I can't smell it.
It's only me.
I don't buy it. Why do you smell like a corpse then, huh?
He's wounded. It's been a long week, and he's handled an actual corpse.
It's meaningless compared to what I've discovered.
What you've discovered? You let the suspect escape, a certain Glacier, because you were too drunk to assess a flight risk.
We've read the report, Sari. Lieutenant Kitsuhagi's. We know.
She was kind of a spy from the accident, specially trained.
Oh well, if she was nice. I'm not even gonna get into the other suspect, who also escaped. Yeah, Ruby something. Or the fact that you very likely sold your gun for booze. That's peanuts. That's nothing. That's a humorous anecdote.
Oh.
Compared to the 7 people who were gunned down, the streets are literally red with blood, Harry. It was fucking mass murder.
He did everything he could. We did everything we could. The company hired unvetted mercenaries. Lieutenant Dubois got between them and the locals. He did so at considerable risk to his own life. He was shot and survived only because of his armor. We stopped an execution, not a negotiation. The loss of life was minimal compared to what it could have been.
Yeah, it was a mystery. We got white. Where the hell were you?
Don't make this harder for yourself.
Thank you for the input, Lieutenant Kitsuragi. I didn't mean to suggest you didn't handle the situation. You've spent the week with him on this case. What is your take?
On the case?
On Lieutenant Yefretor Dubois.
Well, the drinking, the gun losing, also losing the badge. That's all true. Although he has not been drinking on the job this week.
See?
1 week.
I did it.
Then there's the self-flagellation issue. He likes to apologize, profusely, making it sound like he's guilty of at least first-degree murder. It's not a good communication strategy for an officer. It's odd, especially in light of his political views. Detective Dubois is, as you may know, a hustler. He grinds. He makes the real. He's a visionary and a money engineer, which is just. And then there's the motor carriage in the sea, and the constant smoking everywhere, all the time. But despite all this, he is a great detective, one of the best I have seen, in fact. He can talk human beings into telling him everything, and he doesn't stop. In all the time I've spent with him, he has not once stopped pursuing leads, however far-fetched and tangential. He is tireless, madly driven. Well, except that one time when he stopped to sing karaoke, which, by the way, I have to disagree with you, Mr. Vicmar, was a valiant effort. He really sang his heart out.
Thank you, Ken.
Okay, he did something.
Other than that one time, he has tirelessly worked on the case, and he solved it. We have a confession, a murder weapon, and the perpetrator, locked on the island right now, awaiting transportation. He apprehended a revolutionary brigade who stayed hidden for 50 years, ever since the revolution, who's probably committed other murders over those years. Oh, and he also discovered a new species.
Goddamn right I did.
A new species?
A colossal stick insect. It was on the island, camouflaged as the reeds. It unfolded from the reeds. I think we may be dealing with the Insulindian phasmid.
He takes out the photo and shows it to the officers across the yard. Rain comes down. He covers the glossy photo of the phasmid with his hand.
As you can see, it's about 3 meters tall. In fact, we think it may be the largest land invertebrate ever discovered.
9 feet. Boom shakalaka, motherfucker.
Fucking hell is that? Is this somehow connected to the case?
The killer did not seem to be aware of the phasmid's presence. Exhibiting a strange, atypical dementia, he fell into a stupor after its appearance. He became near catatonic.
It's probably not connected per se, but the perpetrator knew its existence.
So it is connected.
Are you gonna talk? I must say, this is absolutely extraordinary. I don't even have words for it.
Yes. It really does make it hard to fire the drunk.
This is a very, very sad man who has just seen something that's made him forget his sadness.
No.
Now you make your case. Now is the time. Now or never.
There was also a dead man on the boardwalk, a missing person I found.
Yes, yes. Fallen through a gap in a boardwalk. Drunk.
How'd you know I found
The
him?
body was transported to Precinct 41, our morgue. I had Tilbrook and Mullins take care of funeral arrangements and family stuff.
Oh.
You're not the only cop in the world, Harry. This all comes back to us.
Still, good work with the missing person, Detective.
The previous head of the Dubois Union was the same about a killer.
This is a conversation for when we are no longer out in the open. In Martinez, where Everard and Edgar Clare have ears everywhere.
And eyes, too. Your return from the island must not have gone unnoticed.
Understood.
I would prefer not to partake in anything union-related, for political neutrality.
This has to be good stuff for him to backpedal out of it at first mention.
He was strong murder for him.
Lilianovich. A revolutionary matronym.
I don't have time for the straight to the
Of course, excuse me, I just thought it was noteworthy.
He wasn't quite sure about the straggler before he heard this detail. It must have convinced him.
An act of jealousy.
Jealousy? I thought this Lilianovich was an old male. To have been hiding for 50 years. Like 70-something.
A strange psychosexual fascination. The result of spending all this time in solitude on the islands of this bay. And trauma too. He himself gave a political reason. In his mind, he had killed an enemy combatant. Also, we have a sniper's nest with full view of the room in which the mercenary died, right on the island, and 2 officers on the scene that Mr. Dross confessed to.
It's a clean win.
Oh, it's way more than that.
Like the fastman.
Perfect folding mechanism. Get over yourself, Harry. I can still smell the booze on the wind.
God damn it. Doesn't it ever leave? It is there. Like in your bones or something.
Should I tell him about the fastman?
Female? What makes you think so?
You had to see it. It had the subdued colors of a female. And the nesting behavior too, I think.
Incredible. Were there eggs in the nest?
Not as far as I could see. There were other things there, though.
It's interesting time. Forget about the rest.
As in cloning itself? What makes you think so?
Observation.
Interesting. Then it is especially vulnerable to disease. A single strain of bacteria could wipe out the entire species. We're probably talking conservation efforts here.
In his mind, he's already planning a nature reserve and knows a good guy for that.
It had gathers in its nest.
Actually, you know, this would indicate it was a male. This is far from anything in my field, but I think such nests are called bowers. They are for attracting mates.
It could have been a male.
Must be robust if it can move a helmet with its limbs.
Yes, but also reed-colored, beige and brown, a little green on the outside. After unfolding from a single stalk, it still retained parts that looked like reed tufts on its limbs.
Incredible. The PR value of this is exceptional. Carp discovers new species. Maybe even discovers the Insulindian phasmid. No, that's too much.
This would really help with some of the problems we've been having.
Goddamn right.
Absolutely, this is great. This does not say vigilante murderers to me at all. This says science, news, human interest. You know, it's a really good thing you have that photo.
Without it,
You're doing good here. Perhaps only for a moment, but still.
So what do you say? You want to take this hot shit back?
I don't want to, but you discovered a new species and solved the murder. So I have to. Jude,
Anything that ends the trial is okay with me.
Agreed. The public relations potential of this is too valuable to let go.
I did it.
okay. We have vehicles in the square, and the perpetrator needs to be taken into custody. Let's go.
The man looks westward, impatiently.
Lieutenant, what do you do now?
Well, first I will go back to my station and write the most detailed report anyone has ever seen. It will have to be good to cover all these. Then I will have a serious talk with my captain.
What about?
Detective, we just stopped a small-scale war. Something is happening to Revachol. I don't know what yet, but it's going to be a hard spring for the RCM. We need to get ready, infiltrate, investigate.
Want to do that at Station 41?
Talk to Captain Price? I'd rather not ruffle the feathers of two captains with my doom-mongering.
Come work.
Work with Price? I'm flattered, but I don't know if I...
This truly came as a surprise to him. Not a bad one, but he's at a loss.
Flattered? You're Lieutenant Kitsuragi. We would be flattered if you even considered.
I would have to tie things up in GRIH first. But, I mean, whatever is coming, Jamrock will be more central to it than the harbor.
And we also have a huge caseload, Lieutenant. Piles that we need to get back to. Mountains, even.
Look, no.
I do like the sound of that.
He's really considering it.
Yay. Why am I like this?
It's not a mystery. Some chick fucked you over. Also, you were drunk.
What's her name, Dora?
Yeah. Dora England, I think.
Not Dora Dubois.
So we weren't even married.
No one is married anymore. This is Revachol.
When was this?
God, I don't know. 6 years ago, she was way before my time.
Okay, so she was the witch.
Yeah, you're not doing too good there. It's an old man thing, I think. 2 old years equals 1 normal year. That and Dora Engelund really tore you a new one. A big one.
Who was she?
Incredibly bangable.
For figures.
Extremely fuckable, Harry. Gorgeous. A gorgeous bourgeois woman. Wayfish. Like a Welkin, basically.
Snow Welkin. Blonde Wilkin.
I've only seen a picture, but it's obvious you formed a real spiritual connection with how pretty she was. One you never recuperated from.
Look, the sun is about to go down. It's time to go home.
Sun's been down. It's clocking almost 1 in the morning.
I think she taught in the Académie des Arts, east of the river. Way east. Hard to say which came first, the middle-class chick or the drink. Egg and the chicken kind of thing. My point is, you need to see a psychiatrist about this shit. Not a psychologist. Several degrees harder. Is there something harder than a psychiatrist? A forensic psychiatrist? Go talk to that.
In other words, he's heard enough about this.
I'm ready.
Good.
Fuck it, let's go. Trump brought his motor carriage. It's a 20-minute drive to Jamrock.
Under the night sky, the Great District sleeps. A dark chessboard of wooden houses in the rain. 80,000 living souls inside. Fire traps as far as the eye can see. From Main Street to Precinct 41, atop the motorway, to Boogie Street, glowing on the rain-swept horizon. You close your eyes and hear the dogs bark. A lone woman sits by a factory window, dreaming of meteorite strikes. On Rue de Saint-Jérôme, a square bullet slides into a square-shaped chamber. In Old South, a man without eyelids smiles. Spring has come. It's time. Torsen? Yes. McLean? Yes. Idlestan? No. Vicmere? Yes. Dubois?
Yes.
Yes. Really? Nick Gottlieb looks up from the list. I hear he's quite unstable. You say that like it's a bad thing. Captain Ptolemy Price points his pen at the doctor. It's dim in his office, and the curtains are drawn. Harry's our man. He'll pull through, and when he does, he'll side with Revachol. Understood. Gottlieb returns to the list. Minot? Of course.
Wonderful. Then can we please just go back to Jamrock now?
We did it, buddy. Would you like a ride? Get in, buddy. I beat it. Yay. I really enjoyed that game. It was fun. The writing was phenomenal. That was the best written game. Christina Aga. It's okay. Wow, they really had a lot of people. Wow. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. We haven't got to the legal team yet. Boom. Boom. Here we go. Playing this one again.
Look at all those playtesters.
These credits are going to be longer than I played it. Mankind, be vigilant with regard to you. Satan. Success. Whoa. I could have leveled up like 3 more times too. Well, that was Disco Elysium. Even unlock 11, the dead body was still hanging. Thank you. Be good out there. Much love, respect, peace. Try not to be an asshole. Adios.